Today it's my pleasure to introduce Richard Morton, an entrepreneur and founder of invivo. Good afternoon, Richard.
Hi, Mark. Good to be here.
Welcome aboard. So where did the first idea come from, and what has been your path from the early 90s to now?
Well, it seems like a long time ago now, Mark. So looking back, I started my first company when I was 25 with 500 quid that my mum lent me. And I was a credit controller at a media company. Over sort of the course of 20 years, we created a really successful business with over 100 staff that we sold in 2015. Looking back, we were young guys that didn't really know too much about how to run a business, but it ran on energy, hard work, and we had a lot of fun whilst we're doing it. You know, when you start a business with a friend and you're a young guy, you become successful and you don't really even think about it. It's just something that happens naturally, it evolves, and it just becomes something that just becomes part of your day-to-day life. You know, I'd read a few business books, and nothing had really prepared me for running a business that became the size of Morton Smith. And back then, you didn't really have the access to the type of media that young business entrepreneurs have today. So you kind of just got on with it. You made it part of you. I think that to a certain extent, that's what made it authentic, and it kind of made it an extension, a representation of ourselves. We wanted to create a business. We created this business that we became incredibly proud of, and we built that over a 20-year period.
And as you said, the back then there wasn't the internet and LinkedIn and that kind of thing to spread the word. So where did the drive and the motivation come from way back then?
Well, I think it was kind of just really came from my mum and my dad sort of had small businesses, and that was kind of like, for me, I was never really going to follow the natural academic path. It wasn't something that interested me. I left school when I was 16, didn't go to college, went straight to work. Well, I think a lot of people did back then, but we had a lot of ambition, and we wanted to create something that was ours. So I think back then it was just more about creating your own like existence, creating your own identity, and that was done through building small businesses, and some of those businesses became very successful. And we're very fortunate that we were in that situation that when we built Morton Smith, it became a really successful brand.
And where does the passion come from that keeps that going year after year? You said you're 30 odd years into it now. How do you keep firing up the passion?
I think it's about like continually learning, continually challenging yourself, and never really accepting the norm. When I started invivo after I sold Morton Smith, it's been a completely different experience for me. Morton Smith, I was a young guy, I didn't really know too much about how to run a business, and I learned a lot as I went along. This time it's been very different for me. I've surrounded myself with really smart, talented people, and I've given them the platform for success. So my job as a CEO now is to guide that team and help them to navigate a pathway to success, and to give them a vision and give them a sense of this is what we're trying to achieve as a collective group of very smart, very, very talented people. So with technology companies or any company, you're always going to have challenges, you're always going to have setbacks, and you're always going to have disappointments. But as a CEO, and obviously someone that's kind of walked this path before, my job is to take that and create learnings from that, and to guide the team to take every single setback and create as a positive, because it's a learning curve as you're constantly progressing and growing a business. I'm always reminding the team to fail fast and keep moving forwards. We're an exciting upward trajectory at invivo, and we have a great team that are immersed in the business, and they want to see the business do well. And I think my job is to get all those people and get the best out of them, and for them to get the best out of themselves. And as I said, as the CEO of that business, that's how I see my role. I mean, when we talk about motivation, it's about the people around you, right? So, I might be the CEO, but I'm always first in and last out. And I think that's been indoctrinated into me because it's part of my personal philosophy. Like, I would never ask someone to do something that I don't do myself.
Yeah.
So is that an old school thing? I don't know. I'm sure there are a lot of young entrepreneurs that are incredibly hardworking, but like I kind of pride myself on the fact that, you know, I'll be first in, I'll be last out, you know, and we'll, you know, just almost setting the tone and setting the pace for the business. Because if I'm not doing it, why would anybody else?
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, as a fellow CEO, I feel the same. And I think you have to lead from the front. No, you can't ask other people to do stuff you wouldn't do yourself. And and also, I think knowing you as long as I have, you've also had the knack to kind of see what's coming as well. You've always embraced the technology as well. You've not sort of hung on to the gold days. You know, as you said, in the last 30 years, the technology's, you know, it's gone rapid, as we all know. But to have the ability to see the opportunities and to motivate other people to buy into it, I think that's very much a critical part of the success, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I think that, you know, there's a lot of talent, there's a lot of young, talented people. You know, we've got an amazing, talented team at Invivo. And I think that, you know, it's just kind of providing them with that kind of that experience, that knowledge to not be afraid to fail. You know, fail fast, and you know, we'll just keep moving forwards. And setbacks are expected. That's what a learning is. But I think that, you know, there's so much talent out there, and I think that, you know, it's quite hard to start a business nowadays, because, you know, you've got, you know, a lot of compliance requirements, etc. I started my first business with £500. You know, I think it's gonna be very difficult to replicate something like that. So, you know, these people working in organisations that should be giving them the platform for personal growth and success. So it's really about, you know, bringing those people into your business, and then sharing your kind of almost like your pooled capabilities to create a great business and create a great brand. And yeah, we're a technology company, and you know, we've got some amazing young people in our company that are doing things that are just, you know, just really inspiring.
And I guess that's where that also motivates you as well, doesn't it? From the energy that's created through everybody. I think that's
Yeah.
such an important aspect, isn't it?
Again, you know, giving people the right environment. You know, what some of the things I took from my first business, and again, a lot of the learnings are that, you know, fun is an important element of our work life. We're not robots. We can't just operate like machines. We need to be able to interact. We need to be able to have a voice. We need to be able to be heard, and you know, and everybody can inspire each other around us. It's not just one person. It inspires, you know, a whole group of people. We inspire each other, and I think that when we do great things together, you know, that becomes a motivational thing, and that's the thing that kind of creates that passion, creates that, you know, capability of achieving something that's difficult to do.
Oh, it is, and I think and you said the passion and the energy and the personalities of the people that represent the company. That's always contagious, and we know that firsthand ourselves. That was kind of part of the route that we ended up working together. And moving forward, sort of money and revenue and profits aside, how do you define success?
Yeah, I don't define success in monetary terms. I might have done when I was younger, but I think that, you know, success is defined, I think, by happiness. So, you know, seeing the team come in every day, building a great business, building a great brand, and seeing everybody have that personal progression, to me is a sense of success. And also, you know, spending time on quality time with my friends and my family. You know, getting to spend time with friends and family. You know, when you're a tech CEO, you don't have a lot of free time. This isn't a job that you can do half-heartedly or half-assed. It's you don't get that you know, opportunity to kind of, you know, slack off, because you've always got to be on it. I think that, like, with a good family unit around you, and with people that are actually supporting you and enabling you to go out and do what you need to do, the thing that kind of then creates that happiness is being able to give back, and then be able to spend that time with your family. But you know, it's not lots of time, because even when you're on holiday, you never get a day off. You know, you're always working. But just to get that a little bit of quality time with your friends and your family and having a positive impact on their daily lives is something that I kind of really see as success. And I feel like I'm living the life that I've always wanted to live. I live the life with the people that I care about and that I love. So I can't ask for more than that. I'm healthy. I'm surrounded by talented people. I've got a great family. So to me, that's the definition of success.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of key points from that. I really agree with. One, you can't dial it in, can you? You can't phone this stuff in. Like you said, you've got to be at it all the time. And the other thing you were saying there, there's a lot of talk these days about work-life balance. And I think the critical thing is if you really love what you do, there is no kind of hard and fast. You don't switch off at 5 o'clock and say, right now I'm going to be somebody else. It's as you said, on holiday. I'm sure probably a bit like myself, when you're at home watching the telly, you're thinking and innovating and so on. So the work-life balance is it's if you're happy, isn't it? It's not one thing or the other. It's as you described, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell you a little story. I mean, like my wife is the person that basically runs my personal life, and it allows me to focus on the business. It's not we work as a partnership. We work as a pair. So I was sat down with my daughter the other day, and she said, "Right, Dad, you're going to come and watch a movie with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to come and watch a movie with you, Fifi." And then she went, "Without your phone, Dad?" And I was like, right, okay.
Now, there's a thing.
Right, now I don't go on social media, so the only reason I'm on my phone is because I'm working. And I was like, right. So she made me put my phone down, and I sat with her and I watched. Now, she's 7, right? So she obviously plays on it a little bit, but it's just a little bit insightful that when you're working in a creative environment, it's the thing that you're passionate about, and it's the thing that keeps you up at night, thinking about things. The other night I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I always keep a book next to my bed because I always want to write things down. I've always done that. And I woke up about 2 o'clock in the morning, but now I've got Slack, so I'm slacking the team about 2:30 with like some sort of design concepts, and then they start replying to me. And I'm like, are we all mad? It was like a Thursday night or something, and I was just like, what is going on? But we just love it. And the thing is, you wouldn't do it if you don't love it, because it takes everything from you. You have to commit to it. It's not something you can do by half. So you have to have a very understanding, supportive family who understand it's your passion and it's what you love doing. But as long as you can give back in a positive way, then I just feel like it is like just finding that happy balance of keeping everybody happy and in a good place, whilst you're kind of like you're chasing your dream a little bit, but it's a thing that's almost a bit all consuming.
Yeah, I think, and I know that within the Callisto team we're very much the same, and I know that Esther's on the side here, and she'd be nodding her head as well, and thinking about the various messages I send at 4 o'clock in the morning as well. Because I have the ideas, I put them down, and I get them out there. So I fully understand what you're saying. Yes, and there's nothing wrong with that, is there? If it is your passion, it's your passion. Yes, I think it's a noble thing, and an important lesson, I think, for young entrepreneurs today, is it's not easy. It's not about just sticking a few things on social networks and it happens. It doesn't work that way, does it? That's the reality is always the hard yards.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a great advocate for, I want to see young people do well. The world is about like the constant evolution, right, and the constant progression, and we want to see young people do well, and we want to see them create great businesses, and we want to see them bring put their stamp on the world, and that's something that's really, really important to me. I just think that it's easy saying and really hard doing, right? And if you're going to do something, if you've got a great idea, right, the best thing to do is to get a bit of paper down and start writing it down and say, this is what I'm going to do. This is the start, the middle, and the end. And it's great to have a great vision and a grand vision, and it's great to have ambition, right? It's almost sent out like what you call a moonshot, right? So you go, this is my moonshot. This is the thing that I want to do. Right now, I've got to work out how I'm going, and I'm going to work backwards from that moonshot, and I'm going to go, right, what's the first step I need to do to get to that point? And I think that what happens is we start with a moonshot and we don't actually think about like, well, how am I going to achieve it? And I listen to like, some young entrepreneurs now that are really doing it, like they're making it happen, and you're kind of like, it's just it's hard work, but also putting in place a plan and executing on that plan. So great. I'm also a great believer, but let's just get it out. Let's talk about it. Like if you've got a great idea and you're excited about it and you've thought about it, let's talk about it. Like, and people go, oh yeah, but people are always talking about, but they never do it. And I'm like, if you don't put it out to the world, it's never going to happen. So get it out to the world first, talk about it, make it real, make it something that you can feel, right? And then you go, right, do you know what? I'm going to do this. This is something I want to make happen. And I think that, we shouldn't be afraid of saying silly things or having big ideas. Keep it coming, and then someone is going to make it happen.
Well, when you think about it, every major company started exactly like that. If you go back, I know the Wright brothers, Marks and Spencers, Rolls Royce, it was all just ideas that all their peers at the time would have thought were crazy, right? So, or Brunel or whatever. There's so many innovations. It's always somebody's individual vision that you have to share and infuse as a people. And I think the other important thing you were saying about when you start to articulate and talk about things, then other people join in, and it's a great way of either saying, yeah, this is a good idea, or yes, it's a good idea, but how about X, Y, and Z? And that's how you kind of bring your team into it as well, isn't it? And embracing their ideas. And for every idea you have, they probably think of 10 more that are either for better or for worse, right? To build on it. So it's it is a contagious thing, and it's a great contagious thing, I feel.
Look, I think it's I love intellectual debate, and I love just chatting to people and hearing about their ideas, and sometimes bouncing my ideas. I bounce my ideas off my wife and say, what do you think? She says, that's a rubbish idea, Rich. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, I mean, I was chatting to my head of marketing, and I said to him, like, do you know what? I want to really start to. It's not something we do here at Invivo too much. Is we do execute on our ideas, and we're working on a big vision right now at Invivo in terms of where we think technology is going and how we want to deliver our technology to our customers and how we want to take our customers on a journey with us. And we think about that and we talk about that all the time. It's like, how can we improve that user experience? How can we improve that engagement? How can we make a user, when they come into work, want to switch on Invivo and enjoy using it and feel connected with it? And we think about that from a kind of when we look at that consumer sort of technology space, and we're looking at the business technology space, and there's a lot of business technology that it's functional, but it's actually it's not nice to use. It looks ugly, and there's not really a massive amount of thought that's gone into that user experience. And we're very much about like, how can we motivate and inspire users by giving them beautiful technology? And that's an inspiration for us, not something that's easy to do, but something that we're constantly looking at. How do we do that? But I said to my guys, like, I think what we're doing is we're setting up like a room where we're going to document like the whole like creative journey at Invivo now, because we're going through a process now where we're kind of looking at different technologies. We're looking at like the kind of more kind of blue sky stuff, and we're saying like, one of these things are going to find a way into our platform, and it's going to transform the way our users interact with technology and how they get value and how they actually have purpose-driven technology in the workplace. And like, so we're going to start sort of documenting this, and so we can look back at those archives and say, this is what we did. This is how we collaborated together as a team. And it's just a collective of as I say, talented people that are trying to do something different and trying to like be aspirational in what we try to achieve.
I think my last question was going to be, what's your mission for the next 3 years? But I think you've already said it, and I think you've also come up with the next Invivo slogan as well: beautiful technology.
Well, that's the ambition.
It's a great ambition.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that we think about our users, our clients are businesses, but we think about, we're thinking more about that user experience and those users. And as I say, how can we make their day better when they come into work and they start using our technology? How can we give them a more engaged, enjoyable experience? And we're doing a lot of work behind the scenes at Invivo in the way that we can actually achieve that and deliver that to our user community. So I think it's definitely something that we'll continue working hard on, and we'll see over the coming weeks and months what we're able to do.
I think that's a really nice positive place to finish. So Richard, it's been a real pleasure, this interview, and thank you very much indeed.
Thanks very much, Mark. It's great to see you.